Hey guys, let's talk about those fantasy football snap counts from week 11. Hey guys, Zach Brunner here from Flurry Sports, and like every single week, we are breaking down the snap counts from week 11. And what a terrible week of football, huh? What a terrible Sunday slate. A lot of weather, a lot of backup quarterbacks. I saw my fair share of backup quarterbacks today. I don't know about you. I'm recording this Sunday night immediately after Sunday Night Football, and in the past weeks, we really go through a bunch of analysis, really break it down. Today, I'm going to try to do a little bit of a shorter video. Let me know if you like it, the shorter video, or if you like the longer video, but we are going to cruise through them. A lot of situations that aren't really super relevant. Obviously, a lot of things to go over for this week in general, however, but we will get into those on articles on flurrysports.org and other videos on this channel. Remember, every single day in November, we do have a new upload on this channel, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. But let's just talk about those fantasy football snap counts now. So again, we'll cruise through these a little bit faster than past weeks. This article is linked in the description below. It's also on flurrysports.org, so go check that out. We also have every single week before this, so if you want to look at other snap counts, let me know. But yeah, we're going to cruise through this. So if you have any questions at all, if you want me to dive deeper into what this means in terms of maybe routes to run for a certain player or anything like that, any deeper analysis, please ask your questions below. And if you want to answer other people's questions, go ahead and do that as well. But Jets Patriots, pretty much nothing to take note of here. Obviously, no Ramondre Stevenson, no Kayshon Boutte as well. But Trevion Henderson dominated the backfield again. And as soon as Ramondre Stevenson is back, Stevenson should take over that early down and short yardage back roll again. Trevion Henderson will be relegated. Jets, no Garrett Wilson, and this is how their receiving corps shook out. Does not matter since they don't pass the ball well. Chris Rodriguez started for the Commanders in this game again, and he is going to be a pretty hot pickup this week, I imagine. Ja'Cory Krofsky-Merritt is droppable in all formats. Chris Rodriguez should be owned, but he's not a must-owned. I wouldn't be dropping a ton of fab on him. However, obviously, running backs are hard to come by. Starting running backs are super hard to come by at this point in the year. So if you need running back help, if you need a bye week fill-in, if you need, maybe you're starting J.K. Dobbins and insert other injured running back, Chris Rodriguez will be a nice pickup for you there. Terry McLaurin hopefully will be coming back soon, but otherwise, typical shares there for the snaps. For the Dolphins, everything is pretty normal. If you need a tight end help whatsoever, Greg Dulcich is the receiving tight end here. He's looking pretty good, playing pretty good. So if you need a spot start, he's not a bad option for you. Panthers, honestly, nothing to come by with the Panthers here. Falcons, I have nothing really here as well. What I will say is Drake London did injure his knee late in the game and didn't return, so that is something you need to take care of here. Watch. Darnell Mooney will be an every down player regardless, but he will be must own if Drake London is out. Quarterback injury as well. Michael Penix injured his knee and did not return, so I don't know who I'd rather have, Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix at this point. Probably Penix, but not a great situation there, I suppose. Buccaneers Bills, this was a fun game. Keon Coleman did not play in this game since he missed a team meeting. So I imagine he comes back to the lineup next week and plays his full share of snaps. They weren't really missing him, though. They played well without him. He's not that great of a football player. Interestingly, this isn't for fantasy really, but former team captain Gabe Davis got back into the lineup here. And for the Buccaneers, it does seem like Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin, honestly, are back very soon. They're both practiced this past week. I'm not sure if we are looking at a week 12 return for Bucky, probably closer to a week 13. Godwin could certainly play this week, but this is how the snap counts shook out here. Sean Tucker looked very good running the football. They both look pretty good running the football. That is a product of the matchup, more so their individual talents, but that's how that shook out. In the receiving core for Buffalo, maybe you want to own Shakir, but otherwise you don't want to own anybody else. No Dalton Kincaid either. Dawson Knox dominated those snaps. For the Chargers, Kamani Vidal was limited a little bit in this game with an injury, but, whatever. Quentin Johnston played the most snaps out of all the wide receivers and finished with a goose egg. I know because I started him in a league. So don't just look at the box score. He did play every single snap. He is just not overly involved in this offense right now. He disappears easily and is easily taken away. Jacksonville, Bayshell Tootin, was off to his best fantasy day. He was playing extremely well, and then he got injured. So he left with an ankle injury. We will see if he can play next week. No Brian Thomas Jr., obviously, so this is how everything else shook out. And Brenton Strange probably back next week, I imagine, and he would be the every down tight end probably. Bears, Luther Burden has taken over that slot role for the first time. He was the starting slot in this game. Olamide Zaccheaus is now playing behind him, so that's notable. More so notable because I think it takes away usage from everybody else. I don't think Burden is going to be somebody that you should own this year whatsoever, but it does take away from everybody else. And then Cole Kmet was healthy, which means it's a 50-50 split from tight end, and that means you probably don't need to own either one. Vikings, Jordan Mason looked good, but he is very clearly the running back 2. It's not even 1A, 1B. He's the running back 2 to Aaron Jones when they are healthy. Packers, Giants, Josh Jacobs hurt his knee and left the game early, obviously. It doesn't sound like it's going to be season ending, but I imagine he doesn't play this next week. I'm a Packer guy, so covered this team pretty extensively. Emmanuel Wilson's an extremely good runner. He is a very, very good runner as a running back. So he is the most useful person there. Chris Brooks will be involved as well. He's the more do-it-all. He's a good pass blocker. He can run routes decently, so he will be involved as well. But yeah, Emmanuel Wilson is the one to own there. Romeo Doubs was a little bit banged up throughout the game. Matthew Golden returned, but it was Christian Watson that looked really good. He's looked good ever since his return, honestly. It's just the quarterback is not good. We did get to see Malik Willis a little bit in this game, and Malik Willis did exactly what you would think. He looked very good. He is the best quarterback on this team, but I digress. Anyone going for Luke Musgrave, though, major red flag. He was benched in this game. You don't need to own any Packer tight end. Giants, this is shaken out exactly as we have talked about in past weeks. Tyrone Tracy is the majority snap leader once again, but Devin Singletary plays all of the useful snaps. He gets all the red zone snaps, and that's why he didn't have as many touches. He didn't play as many snaps. He had a much better fantasy day, and he will continue to be ranked higher than Tracy for me. And it's because he's going to be the only one at a chance to score a touchdown in this backfield. Wide receivers, there's no Darius Slayton. They re-signed Isaiah Hodgins. He looked really good. He's just a big-bodied receiver, and Jameis Winston loves that. Call him mini Mike Evans, do whatever you got to do. Bengals, nothing overly crazy in this game. It was just a really bad game from everybody, all of the above. No Samaje Perine means Chase Brown is getting all that receiving work. Steelers, bunch of injuries. So Aaron Rodgers left early. Jaylen Warren left early. He left in the third quarter with an ankle injury and did not return, so definitely watch that. Even with his exit, Caleb Johnson wasn't involved. He's just not a very good football player at this point in his career, potentially never in his career, so no need to own him, but Kenneth Gainwell will be a must-own next week, assuming Jaylen Warren is out. And then Roman Wilson has taken over that wide receiver 2 role. Kelvin Austin's made one too many mistakes, so he was relegated there. And then game flow specific determines how those tight ends are used. Houston, Tennessee, Woody Marks again dominated backfield snaps here. He is the running back to own in Houston. And Nick Chubb, you may not even need to own him as a handcuff. He's just been so uninteresting and just not very good this year. And then Higgins is the very clear wide receiver 2 now. Even in 11 personnel, he is the very clear wide receiver 2 now. So he's interesting. He's ascending, to be sure. Tennessee, Kelvin Ridley. I mean, I laugh. It sucks, but Kelvin Ridley came back from injury, played one snap, out for the year. So this is the receiving core for the rest of the year. Van Jefferson led, and Shamir DK, obviously he was the one dominating snaps and headlines and fantasy performances a few weeks back. 16 snaps only. So Van Jefferson, Alik Ayomanor, but to be honest, you don't need to own a single one of them. San Francisco, Um, San Francisco managed Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall so long because they had good replacements. So we knew when they would come back, they're probably going to hit the ground running. They absolutely did. Ricky Pearsall played tied for the team lead in snaps for wide receivers, 41. Brian Robinson Jr. continues to earn a larger role in this backfield as well. Um, Obviously, McCaffrey is still unbelievable and is still the running back one, but Ryan Robinson Jr. is one of the most valuable and possibly the most valuable handcuff in fantasy. Tyler Algier gives him a run for his money, I suppose, but he is an own. He should be someone who should be owned. He's a low end flex week to week, and then, I mean, hey, he could ascend to something bigger. But with the return of Ricky Pearsall, Kendrick Bourne no longer needs to be owned here, and George Kittle's looking healthy. Arizona. So Amari DiMercado, I need to move these around. It looks like DiMercado exited the game with an ankle injury in the second quarter and did not return. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously did not play after appendicitis. So Michael Wilson Jr. Michael Wilson was the wide receiver one. You've heard me talk him up ever since, his draft class. Honestly, I love him as a player, and he shined. He looked really good. As long as he continues to have a competent quarterback throwing to him, I think he can be pretty good. Xavier Weaver, I don't really know who he is, to be honest, and you don't need to know either. And then Greg Dortch is the guy underneath, but obviously Trey McBride, offense flows through him. Seattle, Kenneth Walker played the most snaps in this game. It was definitely a competitive game where they were trailing, so he's going to play the most snaps, but he has relatively a 0% chance at a touchdown week to week, so he is probably equally as valuable as Zach Charbonnet in less snaps. You know what I mean? Rashid Shaheed played the third most snaps of the wide receivers. He is probably not needing to be started. Probably should be owned just in case Cooper Kupp doesn't play a week, but whatever. And then AJ Barner dominated those tight end snaps. The Rams, this is an important game, a competitive game. And when that happens, that means Kyren Williams is going to be the leader in the backfield. They weren't playing around with that 50-50 committee here. But in the games where it's less competitive, they will manage Kyren's workload because Rams have true Super Bowl aspirations this year. Tyler Higbee left the game hurt too, but you probably don't need to own any of those tight ends. Ravens, no Justice Hill in this game. So what they did was split those receiving duties pretty evenly between Henry and Mitchell there. And Mitchell was, he played a decent amount of snaps. So that's an interesting. And then no Rashad Bateman as well. DeAndre Hopkins filled that wide receiver 2 role. And we got a bunch of snaps out of the 2 tight ends as well. Cleveland, Dylan Sampson went back to being the RB3. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure how. It's stupid. Dumb. But so he is no longer that third dump back. We thought coming out of the bye, he took that role. That's not true. So no need to own him. No need to own Ford. And then Quinton Judkins is a great player. Unfortunately, he's not in scoring position overly often. Isaiah Bond came back this week and was the wide receiver 3. Thrash was a healthy scratch. Both of the tight ends play a bunch of snaps. Chiefs, no Isaiah Pacheco. Hunt dominated the backfield snaps here. And that's about it there. Broncos. Okay, this is the big one this week. This is the featured. This is the one that people are looking at. So without J.K. Dobbins, I was surprised to see how dominant RJ Harvey was in his snaps and all of over the board, I guess. He dominated early downs. He dominated everything. He got goal line carries. He did everything. So he is the very clear RB1 going forward. I do think Jaleel McLaughlin will have weeks, and he got a touchdown this game. That was not surprising whatsoever. He will continue to eat into touches. He will vulture like he did in this game. But he is nothing more than a speculative flex play. You're just hoping he has a big week. But RJ Harvey's the clear RB1 here. And then Beatty is just that passing down 2-minute drill guy. His role is fully unchanged. For the wide receivers, nothing new. Pat Bryant got a little bit banged up, but I think he's fine. And then Lions, Eagles, Lions trailing. So Gibbs dominated snaps here. And no Sam Laporta. He went on IR. Brock Wright dominated those snaps, but he's a low usage player. For Philadelphia, nothing. You know what it is. You know what it is with Philadelphia. You know who the players are. You know what their roles are. And they passed a little bit more, which is nice to see. AJ Brown did get involved. So I sped through that. I went quick, put it at 0.5 speed if you need to. But if there's anything you want me to go deeper into, if you want me to expand on anything, definitely comment below. Or if you just have regular general fantasy questions, waiver wire questions, drop them below. But please like this video. Please subscribe. And if you have suggestions for other video topics or article topics that you want to see, please let me know. A little plug for a former video. Before this week of games, I gave you a bunch of money making futures to bet. If you are a sports bettor and did not bet those, I think you did a major disservice to yourself, but it's not too late. You can still go and bet a bunch of those bets and make a bunch of money. But clearly, the odds for Myles Garrett leading in sacks, for Defensive Player of the Year, for Devontae Adams leading in touchdowns, all of those things, less money making odds, but still go and do that. But if you have any ideas or suggestions for other videos, let me know. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Fuck yeah.